Hello and welcome to Caroline's Library, where we dive into the world of manga, anime, and more. And it is finally time for us to talk about Bleach. The first volume dropped in 2001, so does this classic still hold up so many years later? Well, let me just say, this is one of my absolute favorite manga series. So let's dive into this chaotic world of Soul Reapers, Hollows, Quincy's, and so much more. First, let's set the scene with a quick review of Volume 1. We meet Ichigo, this high school kid who's able to see spirits. But despite this slightly inconvenient fact, he's living a pretty normal life with his dad and sisters. Well, that is until an odd girl named Rukia breaks into his room, attempts to fight off a large spirit called a Hollow, gets injured, and ultimately fails miserably. So cue the moment where Rukia, in a desperate attempt to make sure that she and Ichigo survive, transfers her powers to Ichigo, thus kicking off the rest of the series. Because Ichigo is now what's called a Soul Reaper, tasked with fighting off malevolent hollows, which are essentially corrupted spirits. And if this weren't troublesome enough, Ichigo quickly learns just how dangerous this world of Soul Reapers and hollows actually is. Cool, so with that review behind us, let's take a look at how this manga became one of my absolute favorites, starting off with the power systems. As I mentioned earlier, we've got these individuals known as Soul Reapers who use spells and sentient weapons called Zanpakuto. And each Soul Reaper's Zanpakuto is unique, meaning their abilities and attacks are all completely different. For example, Toshiro is able to create and control ice. Renji's sword is able to morph into something like a jagged whip, and Byakuya can shatter his blade into thousands of fragments to shred his opponents to pieces. I'll stop there because this list of unique abilities is very similar to the list of curse techniques in Jujutsu Kaisen. But it doesn't stop at Soul Reapers. Bleach also has other groups like Arrancars, Quincy's, and Fullbringers who have their own powers and abilities capable of rivaling those of the Soul Reapers. And with all of these groups and powers, it may seem like a lot to wrap your head around, but Bleach does a fantastic job of introducing new groups and abilities in a way that's easy to follow along. You rarely feel overwhelmed, and the author expertly uses info dumps in a way that feels natural, like through world-building dialogues and backstories. And speaking of dialogues, let's talk about the characters, because Bleach has some top-notch people. Our main crew includes Ichigo, the new Soul Reaper, Rukia, the girl who unintentionally relinquished almost all of her power to make Ichigo a Soul Reaper, Orihime, the ditzy but sincere love interest? Yeah, we'll get back to that later. Chad, the quiet and loyal best friend, and Uryu, the intelligent and slightly melodramatic enemy turned ally. And the main characters are good, but for me, the support characters make the story, and there are a ton of them. My personal favorites include Kisuke, the intelligent, cunning, and oddly laid-back mentor, Kenpachi, the aggressive and bloodthirsty captain with a genuine love of battle, Shinsui, the carefree but wise captain with a fantastic sense of style, and Uryu, the calm and meek child who shockingly packs a punch. Now, obviously not all of the characters are amazing, but I'll get back into that later. So, with a series that's 74 volumes long, with well over 100 characters, we get to experience some epic arcs. And luckily, one of the best arcs is the first major one in the series, the Soul Society invasion. I won't go into details because of spoilers, but I think it's safe to say that the Soul Reapers live in the Soul Society, so be prepared for some intense battle scenes. So the series has a strong start with the Soul Society invasion, which may still be my favorite arc overall, but the past arc and the Thousand Year Blood War arc are strong competitors for the top spot. And throughout all of these story arcs, we get some jaw-dropping plot twists. Obviously, can't go into details, but I promise you there will be at least 3 moments where you will be stunned. As for the artwork, the improvements from the first few volumes to the last are amazing to witness. There are so many beautifully detailed, epic panels that you'll want to take time to fully appreciate. and the character designs improved substantially. I mean, look at Ichigo from Volume 1 versus later in the series. Lastly, to wrap up the best parts of this series, the author does a phenomenal job of balancing out light and funny moments with dark and brutal ones. While the story has some goofy and immature scenes, it has much more of a serious tone than I expected, which is aided in part by our main character Ichigo, who is a responsible and mature guy that's forced to carry a significant burden. And he's not the only one who has an intense and meaningful character arc. Life lessons are scattered throughout these volumes. So overall, Bleach is an amazing series with plenty of things to love, but it isn't without its flaws. Okay, let's just get my unpopular opinion out of the way. For me, the main female characters suck. Orihime is the damsel in distress. I lost count of the number of times that she had to be saved by Ichigo and friends. And if she was a powerless human, then fine. At least we could say she was helpless. But oh no, she is far from helpless. In fact, she has one of the most overpowered abilities in the series and just seems to inevitably fail to rise to her own potential every single time. Don't hate me for that. On top of this, her head in the clouds, ditzy personality almost made me drop the series. It reached the point where I started skimming her parts. Oh, and for those who say that Orihime was obviously Ichigo's love interest, I read the manga. And no. She was clearly in love with him, but he treated her like he treated every other friend. Like a friend. As for Rukia, she wins the most annoying award. Similar to Orihime's damsel in distress moments, I lost count of the number of times Rukia told Ichigo that he shouldn't do something. Like, what exactly is the alternative? To give up and die, run away? Like, either help out or shut up. And my dislike of Rukia started almost instantly, when she thought it was okay to insert herself into a private and extremely emotional day between Ichigo and his family. I sincerely wish we had more time with interesting, unique, and capable female characters like Nanao, Nell, Uryu, and Unohana. Okay, if you're still with me and haven't abandoned this video because of what I just said, let's quickly touch on my other very small issues with this series. First, the battle scenes are so long. And if that's your thing, you'll love it. But personally, I started skimming some of the battles when they featured characters that I felt more neutral about. And second, the anime is packed with fillers. Some of them were super enjoyable, but most of it was a waste of time. But outside of the filler, the show did a phenomenal job of bringing the manga to life. So, to wrap it up, does Bleach still hold up years later? Absolutely. The story is incredible, the characters are memorable, the power systems are super cool, and Bleach continues to inspire some of my other favorite manga series like Jujutsu Kaisen and Gachi Akuta. Bleach is truly a must-read manga series, but let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for popping on to watch this review, and until next time, happy reading.